Hello. Good evening. It's like late, so I thought that I would read a bedtime story or a morning story whenever you are listening to it. I was late posting my read aloud today. So today I picked Hana Hashimoto's The Sixth Violin. And this one is really cool because I know that Teddy practices an instrument. I know that Teddy has practiced piano, and I know how hard it is to practice an instrument when you're this young. So I read this and thought how hardworking Teddy must have been to work on an instrument so committedly. So let's find out what this girl is all about. When Hana Hashimoto announced that she had signed up for the talent show and that she would be playing the violin, her brother nearly fell out of a tree. "That's just loopy," said Kenji. "You're still a beginner." "Stop kidding," said Koji. "You can barely play a note." "It's a talent show, Hana. You'll be a disaster." Hana squared her shoulders and took her violin and bow inside, leaving her brothers laughing like monkeys in the tree. She pulled at the strings, letting them twang. It was true that she was still a beginner. She had only been to 3 lessons. The first time Hana held a real violin had been that summer while visiting her grandfather in Japan. Long, long ago, her grandfather had been part of a great symphony orchestra in Kyoto. Oji-chan had been the second violin and once played in front of the imperial family. Wow, it's really high honors. Oji-chan played every morning. From his study, the clear, bright notes would drift upstairs through the shoji screen doors to where Hana slept on sweet-smelling tatami mats and coax her awake as gently as sunshine. Do you see her sleeping there? Oji-chan usually played classical pieces by Mozart or Mendelssohn or Bach. But in the indigo evenings, while Hana and her brothers ate ice cream and oranges, Oji-chan would sit on the veranda and play requests. Hana always asked for a song about a crow cawing for her 7 chicks. Whenever Oji-chan played it, Hana would feel a shiver of happy sadness ripple through her. Oji-chan didn't just play songs. He could also make his violin chirp like the crickets Hana tried to find in the tall grasses. He would pluck the strings to mimic the sounds of raindrops on the oil paper umbrella. Hana twirled it under the summer during storms. And when the first fireflies emerged at twilight, Oji-chan could compose a melody that seemed to make them dance higher and glow brighter than ever before. At the end of each day, as Hana lay with her head resting on a cool buckwheat pillow, Oji-chan would play a lullaby so soothing that sleep would fall over her like a blanket. On their last day together, Hana told Oji-chan that she wanted to learn to play the violin, and when Hana got home, her parents agreed that she could. Now, Hana was practicing not just for lessons, but for the talent show as well. Has anybody ever told you that you couldn't do something? Hana practiced every day just like Oji-chan, and every day her brothers fled the house with covered ears complaining about the horrible noise. She practiced in front of her parents, who listened with care while they washed and dried the dishes. Those are some commendable parents. Because do you think that she's very good just learning how to play the violin? I don't know if you've listened to your violin when someone who is a beginner is starting to learn how to play, it's hard on the ears. She practiced in front of her dog Jojo, who cocked his head and sometimes growled at the strange the strange sounds Hana made. And she practiced on her own in front of an old photo of Oji-chan from his symphony days. Alone, Hana could pretend she was performing in front of an audience so appreciative they called for encore after encore. The day of the talent show arrived, and the school auditorium thrummed with excitement. Backstage, Hana waited with a walloping heart. A dozen acts, including 5 other violinists, had already gone before her. Finally, Hana heard the master of ceremonies call her name. How do you think she's gonna do? As Hana walked onto the stage, her violin tucked under her arm and bow gripped tight in her hand, an oceanic roar filled her ears. Things seemed to be moving in slow motion, and for one dizzy moment, Hana thought, Kenji and Koji were right, this is going to be a disaster. And she wished she could turn into a grain of rice and disappear into a crack between the floorboards. What do you think that's called? When you get so scared, you just freeze? Stage fright. Doing something for the first time is hard, really hard. It's easy to give up. But when you work hard and keep with it, that feeling that you get at the end of the big thing you were working for is the best feeling you'll ever feel. She could hardly see with the spotlight in her eyes. Yet, as Hana looked out into the audience, certain faces appeared to her as through a telescopic lens. She could see her brothers melting into their seats. You think they were embarrassed? She saw her best friend Jazz giving her 2 thumbs up, and there, her smiling mother and father, camera in hand. Hana held a breath, then ballooned her cheeks before letting it out. With a whoosh, the roaring in her ears receded. Then, as everyone seemed to disappear, beyond the light shining down on her like a moonbeam, she remembered. Ooh, this is a Japanese word, and I'm gonna butcher it. Gambaru no yo, Hana-chan. Do your best, her grandfather had told her. Oji-chan would be cheering for her. Is he really there, or is she imagining him there? Yeah, she's imagining. Hana swallowed her nerves like medicine and leaned toward the microphone. She would just do her best. This is the sound of a mother crow calling her chicks, she said, and she placed the violin under her chin, held her bow in position, and played 3 raw, squawky notes. This is the sound of my neighbor's cat at night. And she dragged the bow across the strings, and the violin yowled in protest. This is the sound of rain on a paper umbrella. And Hana plucked the strings for a soothing plump, plump, plump. What's she sharing? All the things, right, that she noticed? As Hana continued to play all of the special sounds she had practiced, the air around her came alive with buzzing bees and loving cows and squeaking mice and croaking frogs. And finally, as the last sound effect trailed away, Hana tucked her bow and violin under her arm. And that, she said to the audience, is how I play the violin. And then she took a great bow. Later, after dinner, Kenji surprised Hana by asking her for an encore. Make that funny cow sound again, he said. Then Koji said, make that crazy cat sound too. So Hana did, and when her mother and father and brothers all laughed, she happily played her sounds again. Perhaps next year, Hana would be able to perform one of Oji-chan's favorite pieces. But for now, Hana played a little melody she had been practicing, remembering from nights lit by dancing fireflies. She imagined that the notes would drift out through the window, past the bright rabbit moon, and beyond, and Oji-chan would hear them and smile. So that is Hana Hashimoto, 6th violin, and I hope that you think of a time when you tried to do something that was really, really hard and you wanted to give up, and everyone told you, you can't do that, you can't do that. Instead of listening to them, you worked really hard and you made mistakes. And you said, it's okay, I'm gonna make mistakes. The more I do this, the better I'll get at it. And then you succeeded. So I hope you all have a memory in your mind of something like that. Okay, see you later, bye.